Hello everyone, Agent Gold here, and I just wanted to weigh in with my thoughts on seeing Shantae as a spirit in that last Smash Bros. Direct. Lately I've been watching some videos keeping up with Shantae's chances at being in Smash Bros. For a while it looked to me like she might have a legitimate chance of being playable, like not guaranteed by any stretch, but actually having a good chance. Then in the last Direct we learned about Spirits Mode, and then they showed us this. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I think that this is absolutely amazing. I still want her to be playable, but this is such a good step in the right direction. WayForward has expressed that they're really happy about this, and they've thanked us for our help. They said that this would not have happened without our passion. It feels good to have been part of that, but I am never recording when I am sick again. Shantae went from having no hint of representation in Smash Bros. To having a role in the Adventure mode and being featured in the trailer for that mode. Whenever people rewatch the World of Light trailer, and I have a couple of times so far, they're going to see her there. On top of that, this game is one that's going to sell millions of copies, no questions asked. Just being in a game like that, no matter how small the part actually is, that's an honor and a good chance to earn some new fans. Here's a not quite secret about me. The first time I found out about Shantae was when I opened up the 3DS eShop and there she was staring back at me. I didn't want to buy a game just for having a cute girl on the cover, but it did catch my interest. I did some research to see if her game was actually a good one, if it actually had real love put into it, and if her character was interesting and had depth behind her. The fact that I'm talking about this now should give you a pretty good idea of what I found out. Now we have another moment where people can be drawn in the same way that I was and do their own research if they want to, but this time it's a more consistent platform that they'll see her in, and there's a lot more that they can look into behind her. On that note, think about Shantae's position in the industry, really. She's gotten popular enough to be stable so that there won't be any more nearly 10-year silences between releases where we wonder if she's ever coming back. But there's no way she measures up to something like Pokémon or Super Mario Bros. She's small in the grand scheme of things. She's got a niche audience. She's super cool, and she's one of my favorite series out there, but she's not some towering blockbuster. Now, in spite of that, I still think she had a fair shot at being in the roster this time, what with all of the surprises that they threw at us and how much they showed us that they were listening to what the fans had to say. And I still think she can make it in the future. But honestly, just the fact that she appeared at all in one of the biggest game franchises in the world is an amazing feat. One of my friends had been telling people for a while that just seeing a character in the game, even if they're not playable like you want them to be, is something worth appreciating. Like for some people, the magic character that they want to see in is Shadow, or Isaac, or Bomberman, or Shovel Knight. They're in the game, at the very least. And that moment that I saw Shantae in one of the trailers, it all kinda clicked for me. Like, yeah, I'd still love to see her playable, but when you look at how much effort went into this game, how much time it takes for them to put these playable fighters together, and the fact that they're still acknowledging the ones that they don't have the time or effort or whatever it takes to get them in there, it's kind of flattering that we're still getting a mention. And if you don't think that this is as amazing as I think it is, just keep in mind that these two got in before these two. Banjo and Kazooie are long-standing characters who are part of a good number of our childhoods who have a high demand following of their own, and the indie characters got mentioned before they did. Think about that. And I've been looking at the details of this screen for a while, and I can kinda tell they did not just slap her in there. Like, let's break this down for a minute. Fight takes place on the pirate ship, and we all know that that makes sense because Risky Boots' pirate ship is a big figure in her games. She's using Zero Suit Samus as the puppet fighter, I think that's the term they used for it, and she starts with a Killing Edge which has increased power. So what does that mean she can do? Well, she's agile, which makes sense, and she has Samus's whip attack, which also works in that kinda similar abilities way. She's using a pistol and a powerful sword. That's a reference to Pirate's Curse where she's using Risky's gear. The items in this fight are also set to transformation items, which is a nod to the kind of magic she uses even if it's not an exact match. Those are some pretty nicely deep references in her rule set. Whoever put this event together, they didn't just know about Shantae, they really knew who she is. For me, the real cherry on top is that she's an ace spirit. I've played enough collectible games with similar layouts to this structure to know that the second from the top tier is where the good ones start to be. I think a lot of fun of spirits is going to be people equipping their favorite ones, but Shantae's going to be one you can feel good about equipping. I know that I'm personally going to want to make a beeline for Shantae to unlock her. Memorize this location. She's on a bridge, next to a cave, by the beach, near Stonehenge. And honestly, I should not have expected anything different from her. But yeah, this whole setup is about the nicest tip of the hat they could have given us without spending major development resources on her. The more I see it, the more I love what they've done with her. It tells me that Shantae's foot really is in the door now. It says to me that Nintendo and WayForward are on good terms, and some people at Nintendo, whoever they are, have a good grasp on who Shantae is and what she's like. There have been times when we've wondered if certain aspects of Shantae's design or background would prevent her from being in the roster, but now we can see pretty clearly that all of those barriers are gone. Getting into the roster as a playable character is still no guarantee for someone like her, but it should be easier now than it's ever been before. Will she be one of the 5 DLC characters they're planning? I don't know, she could be. I'm not going to bet money that she absolutely will be one, but I think she has a fair shot. Certainly a better chance than I've ever thought she's had so far. Matt Bozon made a tweet saying we should try to get 4 out of the 5 DLC slots for Shantae. I think that might be a little bit controversial. After all, some fans might not realize that asking for all 5 slots would be too greedy and that this is obviously the best compromise. But anyway, even if she doesn't get one of these 5 slots, I can pretty much promise that these 5 characters aren't going to be the only DLC this game gets. Like, imagine this from their end. You've poured tons of effort and resources into one of the most popular game franchises in the world, and you release it with a massive amount of content for the base price of a modern game. You know that any DLC that you release is going to get picked up by some set of your fans. Anything they add on from here is just a bigger return on their base investment at this point. And it makes one of the best games ever even better, so I say add on as much as you want for as many years to come as you want. On top of that, they could always give us things like Mii Fighter outfits like they have in the past. If they wanted to give us a Shantae Mii Fighter, I'd be more than happy to take that while still waiting and hoping for a full playable Shantae. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm thrilled about this. Even if it's not exactly how we were hoping, Shantae is in Smash Bros. Here's to hoping that she'll be playable one day, and until then, I'm gonna earn that spirit and equip it so much that my brother calls me obsessed. Which is going to take all of one time before that happens.